Hello once again, Mustang football fans, and welcome to the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One in Marshall, Minnesota, and of course SMSUmustangs.com. I'm Kelly Loft, your host, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University. And once again, we're going to talk Mustang football with the head coach, Cory Sauter. We'll look at the Minnesota-Duluth game from last Thursday, August 30th, and then preview the upcoming game against Northern State coming up on Saturday, September the 8th. And as I mentioned, joining us as always from the Cory Sauter Show is the head coach, Cory Sauter, now in his third season here at SMSU. Mustangs coming off a tough loss to one of the top teams in the country last Thursday, August 30th, 45-20. Mustangs played very well for three quarters, right there with the Bulldogs, but UMD showing their firepower and just their brute strength there in the fourth quarter, able to kind of run out the clock, get a couple of scores, and win 45-20. We'll take a look at the highlights here shortly, Coach, but let's talk about that Bulldog game. You've had a week now, over a week to digest it and watch the film. Your overall thoughts of the season opener?
Well, there's a reason why they're ranked number 2 in the country. They're very, very good across the board. They don't really have many weaknesses at all, and it became very evident there in the fourth quarter that they were the better team, and they played extremely hard and really wore us down physically more than anything. I thought going into the game we were prepared physically, we were prepared mentally, emotionally. We were up for the game. I really thought that our guys played well early, and but you can only do that for so long against a very good quality opponent. And the good news is offensively we didn't turn the ball over. We played a pretty clean game. As far as not doing anything that really hurt ourselves. We actually had more big plays than their offense when you compare offense to offense. Defensively, they did they did some things to slow us down there in the second half, but all in all, I thought we played pretty solid. There's always room for improvement, especially in the first game of the season, and I know our kids are excited about pushing forward now as we get into the season.
Again, the Mustangs lose 45-20 to the UMD Bulldogs. The Mustangs trailed 25-20 late in the third quarter following a Warren Matthews 7-yard touchdown run, but a long kickoff return set the Bulldogs up for a score late in the third quarter, and they took the lead back up 32-20 and never looked back. You talk about the offense and some of the things you did well, and defensively, Coach, the guys just maybe didn't make all the tackles, and that's something I'm sure they're working on, obviously, to correct. But the positive thing was defense flying all over the field, and they were there to make some plays. Duluth, give them credit, just made a couple of nice moves and it broke a tackle or two, but that's something maybe we haven't seen in a while, and the Mustangs did a great job, and that's something they can build off of.
Yeah, and just coming out of the first couple series, I thought again we're really pursuing the football pretty well. We're getting guys in position to make plays. At times they made a guy miss, or two guys miss, or three guys miss, and those are the things that you got to correct. But just as far as overall scheme, overall pursuit to the football, I thought we did a nice job there. A couple of things that we really have to clean up is just communication. There were some times where we had to take a timeout when it was really unnecessary. It kind of affects the flow of the ball game and momentum and all that. So communication is going to be a big key for us going into the future, as well as just substitutions and just correcting a few of those things. But I know this week we've hammered pretty hard on those areas just to make sure that those things don't affect the outcome of ball games. And it was evident early that we were able to play with them. We were able to make some plays on the defensive side of the ball. Again, I thought just our overall effort and enthusiasm and just pursuit to the football was much improved over last year.
We talk about you have training camp, and then you have game week, get ready, and it's always exciting for that first game to see. You just don't know what to expect. There's a lot of newcomers out there, and I think I counted up to 10 new players that play in their first action in Mustang uniforms, a couple of true freshmen. Talk about just some of those newcomers and some guys that really made some plays, because we had some guys in that defensive backfield first time they're playing. You had a couple of transfers at linebacker and A.J. Page in the D-line. These guys playing their first collegiate game and really made some big impacts.
Yeah, and first ball game too, you're not going to have the ability to have many tackles going into that, meaning that during training camp, we're not tackling. We're not taking guys to the ground just for our own safety. But once you get in the ball game now, all of a sudden things change. You've got to actually bring a ball carrier down to the ground. You've got to take the proper pursuit angles. But as you mentioned, there are a lot of new faces on that side of the ball. So that's where a lot of that communication needs to continue to improve. Now, certain guys did step up, and I was very pleased with our new linebackers. Deshaun Miller, I saw him, just during the game, making some nice hits, and sometimes he may not always been in the right spot, but he's a physical player and doing some nice things there. Also, Blake Pennick is a very athletic linebacker, and he had a solid night as well. In the back end, we really didn't give up a ton of big plays. We didn't give up, a lot of those, where guys are just running by you. We're keeping things in front of us. We did have a big play down the middle of the field that they hit us on, but other than that, I felt pretty solid with the back end of it. We forced them to try to throw the ball a little bit more than what they wanted to do, and that was really the design of it, and trying to force them to do something they don't want to do.
Well, looking at some of the individual numbers in the ball game against the Bulldogs, Mustang quarterback Tyler Prashong completed 28 of 47 passes for 304 yards and a touchdown. Top receiver is Tyler Erickson, tied a career high with 7 receptions for 89 yards. And Abe Koss had a nice night as well, 5 catches, 58 yards, and making the start for an injured Britt Wickett. And Coach, those receivers really did a nice job. And, look at Abe Koss. He took some big hits in this ball game, fearless across the middle, had 5 catches, and great to see somebody step up. Wickett didn't play because of an injury, but Abe, very capable, and made some big plays.
Well, he did, and he's really emerged over the last couple of weeks. In training camp, and even towards the end of last year, he's really come along as a good player for us. He did make some nice catches in traffic. And the fact that he knew he was going to get hit pretty hard, and the bottom line is he focused, he concentrated, and really made those critical plays when we needed to, especially on that 4th down play that we'll see on the clip here in a little bit. So he's been able to be a reliable receiver for us, and just his work ethic and practice has been a big part of that, making that happen.
Of course, on the defensive side of the football, Joe Stupka, senior captain, had 11 tackles to lead the team, 1 sack, also had a couple tackles for loss, and a nice game for Patrick Oliver, 8 tackles as well. Always been a very good special teams player for the Mustangs, but got an extended role on the defensive side. He had 8 tackles. J.J. Bobowitz with 7 stops, a couple pass breakups, and then, as I mentioned, A.J. Page, a solid first game for him at defensive end, 6 tackles for the Mustangs. Lots of highlights in the contest from the game against Minnesota Duluth on both sides of the football. Let's take a look at the highlights from the ball game against UMD, and we start off, Coach, on the defensive side. Opening drive, the Mustangs making a stop on 4th and 8.
Yeah, this is one of those incidences where you're glad you didn't intercept it, because we gained actually field position by not picking it off. But I'm just glad to see that we're in position, forcing him to make a throw before he was ready to make it, and the ball fell incomplete in the end zone.
Mustangs then on their opening drive. Warren Matthews, longest run of the night, 29-yard run.
Yep, and this is kind of Warren Matthews patented looks here, where he's making guys miss, hurdling defenders, just a basic inside zone, makes the safety miss, hurdles that guy. Tyler Prashong tries to get a block, but ends up getting the end of the brunt of the block on that one on the sideline.
Yeah, pass interference call, and the Mustangs take the lead. Anthony Dean catch and score.
Yep, and Anthony did a nice job as far as making things happen after the catch. I mean, it's just a basic hitch route. Guy takes a short angle, and he ends up spinning off and getting in the end zone.
So the end of the first quarter, Mustangs trail the Bulldogs. UMD will go down, score, complete a 2-point conversion, have an 8-7 lead. Now we go to special teams. Great job by Lance Schuweiler knocking this punt down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, this was close. We got him down inside the 5, and anytime you can do that, that creates tremendous field position for your own team. But you can see here, Stark doing a nice job snapping the ball, new snapper, so that you always want to make sure that we're solid in that department, and Stark did a nice job all night long with those things. But essentially, we're very fortunate getting this ball inside the 5-yard line, as you can see there.
Sam Bonds, who knocks it down, keeps it in. And the defense, tackle for loss here for A.J. Page.
Yep, A.J., A.J.'s been known for being a pass rush guy, but he's very, very capable of stopping the run as well. He gets off the block, wraps up, and doesn't let go, and had a really nice, solid ball game for us against Duluth.
Mustangs had a sack, and you see number 1 Joe Stupa coming in on the blitz and knocks down Vogler.
Yep, and Joe's one of our senior captains on defense, and he's one of our guys that understands blitzing. He times things out well, and not only does he get inside there, but he's under control where he can actually make the sack and not just run by the quarterback.
Mustangs that come back the other way. Great catch here by Tyler Erickson.
Yep, we get the catch. We had the flag as well. I mean, you can see from here that his shoulder pads are pulled off, his jersey's pulled over the side, but just a great grab and get us in good field position.
And talked about Abe Koss, and here's a 12-yard catch, getting the Mustangs down to the 10-yard line.
Yep, we ended up getting into an empty set, and really good protection, real good pocket. They leave him uncovered, get an easy 12-yard completion to set us up.
And then Tyler Bashong, very good runner for the Mustangs, and he had great read here at quarterback draw for the touchdown.
And Duluth here was sitting, expecting pass. We ended up running the quarterback draw, and does a nice job of splitting those two defenders and reaching in for the touchdown.
Here's the last play before the field goal, the end of the first half. Mustang defense with a huge stop here on 1st and goal.
Yeah, and you're right in the fact that holding them to a field goal right before the half is critical, and we made the big stop on this. Again, defense is swarming, getting to the football, and that really gave us a chance going into the second half more than anything, is getting a play like that. I think in the past maybe we would have allowed a touchdown there, but they were down there for several snaps, and we had to hold up for a course of several plays, and got to give our defense credit. They hung in there. They didn't give up towards the end of the half.
Yeah, the Bulldogs got a chance down there. They kick a field goal. They make it. There's a roughing the kicker. They got a first down. They took the points off, and as you mentioned, tried to score another touchdown, but the defense made the stop and forced the field goal. So you're down at halftime, but it's a very manageable score. And at that time, I'm sure the confidence pretty high for you guys to say, hey, we're taking the top team in the league and number 2 team in the country here right at halftime, and we'll get the ball to start the second half.
Right, and that was the key, is the fact that we get the ball right away, and we had some things to talk about at halftime. We had the fact that we were able to move the ball on offense. We were making some stops on defense. We get the ball. We made a big stop right before halftime. So you put all those things together, we at least have something, some positive nuggets, so to speak, to talk to our players about. And they were very receptive at halftime. I mean, they felt like they were still in the ball game. They still had a shot at coming out and putting something together, and you never know what would happen in the fourth quarter. So I thought just overall our demeanor at halftime was very mature. I mean, they weren't panicked. They weren't looking around like what happened, we're not good enough or anything like that. I think they were just ready to get back out and play that second half more than anything.
Again, the Mustangs trailed at halftime and came out, as we mentioned, the second half with the football. We'll take a look at the highlights. You are watching the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One and Marshall Cable Access and at smsumustangs.com. As we continue now with the highlights, our second half. Again, Mustangs trailing at the half 18-13, and starting off here on 1st and down, a big catch. 1st and 10, Abe Koss with one of his 5 catches.
Yeah, this is the one where the safety took a good angle and gets a big hit on Abe, but he hung in there, made the catch, and he's a fearless player across the middle.
22-yard gain. Bashan to Anthony Dean, 4 catches, 62 yards.
Yeah, we just got a play-action pass out of a one-back set. Ended up running a corner route here, and again, we're getting really good protection. And we gave up 0 sacks and in 47 attempts. And you got to give our O-line, our tight ends, and running backs credit to make that happen.
This drive, Mustangs need to keep it going on 4th down, and Pashon with a big throw and a big catch for the Mustangs.
Absolutely. Abe Koss again. And again, we always tell our quarterbacks, don't get left with the football in your hands on fourth down. You might have to make a risky throw. They're bringing an extra guy. We can't pick him up. And he puts it in a vicinity where our guy can get it and no one else.
And that capped off the drive here with a touchdown run, Warren Matthews from 7 yards out.
It's good to get our run game going to an extent. We'd like to get more carries, more touches with our run game, but I thought all in all, our offensive line held their own physically against a very good defensive line, and does a nice job as far as punching it in the end zone to cut the lead.
Mustangs trail 25-20. Bulldogs come back down, and before they score, a nice open field tackle by Durante Smith.
Yep, and those aren't an easy place to make. You got a lot of space to cover and a two-way go, and this could be a big play if he doesn't make that one. So we're excited about the way our corners are playing. They're playing physical. They're playing everything in front of them, and doing a nice job on the back end.
Going into the fourth quarter, Mustangs need to keep it going, and TJ Dean here with the catch.
Yep, and again, being able to stay on the field is critical. We were able to get a decent amount of first downs. I think we had 20-some first downs, and being able to convert those situations are critical.
First and down and 15 here for the Mustang defense following a UMD penalty, and the defense makes a big tackle.
Yep, and this is really the game plan, defensively. Getting guys near the box, forcing them to make a cut, and then that next defender's ready to make that play.
And a third down and long coming up for UMD. Our second and long situation, and again, Mustangs do a good job and making a third down and long situation. The Bulldogs do convert and later score, but you can see the pursuit here by the Mustang D.
Right, and you can see just the overall effort, guys flying the ball, getting off blocks, and ultimately making the tackle.
Here's good protection by the Mustang offensive line. You're in a 2-minute offense here late in the ball game, and giving Bashan a time to throw the football.
Right, and this is just a good learning opportunity for our offense. We were down at this point. The game was in hand for Duluth, but we wanted to make sure we got some 2-minute work with our offense, and you can see here we're able to be pretty efficient first time out running a 2-minute offense, and Cody does a nice job here as far as catching the football and then being able to get upfield and then get out of bounds, so we can just totally make sure that we're not wasting any time on the clock.
Yeah, Cody Condon, 3 catches, 50 yards, and here's back-to-back. Great pass down the middle of the field to the 10-yard line.
Yep, you can see here from the end zone that inside backer, Tyler has to put it up and over him. He has a too-deep look, and just a matter of getting up and over that linebacker. Great throw, great catch. Got us down to the 10-yard line. Unfortunately, we didn't score on that drive. We had some opportunities to throw there, but all in all, I'm very positive, very happy about the way our team finished, especially offensively. We didn't have the ball very much in that fourth quarter, and being able to just finish a game like that was good to see.
Yeah, you talked about time possession. Mustangs really dominated that in the third quarter, and it was pretty balanced throughout. And it's one of those could be overrated statistics, but that's what you have to do, is keep Duluth off the field of play, and because they can just grind it out. And they did do that in the fourth quarter, but in those first 3, you guys control the ball, and really it just showed that when the guys are playing their capabilities, anything can happen, and you can win these close games eventually.
Right, and you said it best right away at the beginning of the show, is played well for 3 quarters, and if you're playing maybe an average team or below average team, that might be good enough to win. And against Duluth, it's going to take 4 quarters of great Mustang football to beat them. And like I said, I think it's a great start, a great foundation for us. Nothing for us to hang our heads or anything. There's always going to be things to learn from, and that's our jobs as coaches to make sure that continues, that learning curve continues to push forward. And so far we've had a great week of preparation, getting ourselves ready for our next opponent, and that's not always an easy thing. You always have that disappointment of losing a ball game and getting yourself ready for the next one. But as we always say, we have the 24-hour rule. They can pout about it, they can complain complain about the game as much as they want, but once that 24 hours is complete, now we're ready to go for that next ball game.
And the Mustangs now focus ahead, continuing conference play. Reminder, all 11 games this year are conference games for the Mustangs, and they'll be heading on the road to Aberdeen, South Dakota on Saturday, September the 8th, 2:30 kickoff at Northern State. The Wolves, 0-1, lost to Augustana in Sioux Falls in their season opener on Saturday, September the 1st. And as you mentioned, Coach, you moved on now. You look ahead to the Northern State game, and how has that been in practice? You said spirits are pretty high, and knowing that, as you mentioned, there's 11 chances to play. That's all you get. You got one of them down. Still lots of football left to go, and hopefully you get some guys healthy. We've got an extra couple days before the next game. Obviously playing on the Thursday night, but hopefully can get some guys back to in the lineup, or at least can get some snaps in.
Some of the guys that played on Thursday weren't 100%. I mean, and you'd like to be as close to 100% as possible in the first ball game. We weren't quite to that point yet, so this will be some valuable time off for our players. We did get an extra practice in on Sunday, so we did get a sneak preview of Northern State. But all in all, I think our spirits are high. We're excited about the challenge that's ahead of us here coming up on Saturday. We played Northern last year right out of the gate, and in my opinion, we didn't play well just across the board. And our players saw that on film. They see that, and I know they're very hungry to get back at this Northern State team. Very scrappy team. Northern State is Coach Dosh does a phenomenal job just getting those players playing at a high level. They're a bunch of, in my opinion, a lot of their players are overachieve in a lot of areas in the fact that they get a lot out of everybody, and that's a credit to their coaches, their players, and so it'll be a fun matchup. I know that going back to their place and playing an afternoon game, 2:30, and I know it's one of those games that we've had circled on our calendar for a long time, because I know we left there with a bad taste in our mouths, and so it'll be fun. I know our players are really looking forward to this.
Yep, should be an exciting ball game for the Mustangs. Again, Saturday, September 8th, 2:30 kickoff at Swisher Field in Aberdeen. Again, the final this last Thursday night in the season opener, Mustangs fall 45-20 to the Bulldogs. SMSU 386 yards of offense, 304 through the air, and that's the fourth career 300-yard passing game for Tyler Pashong and his 13th career start. And then, of course, you look at rushing the football. Warren Matthews led the way with 38 yards with a touchdown on 9 carries. Gannon Moore 8 carries and 31 yards. And on the receiving corps, Tyler Erickson 7 catches for 89 yards in that contest. The Mustangs lose 45-20, but get back at it on the road before returning home for Egg Bowl on September 15th. Coach, thanks for stopping by again this week, and we thank you for watching the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One and at smsumustangs.com. Again, for all the information on Mustang football, go to smsumustangs.com. Stats, videos, roster information, notes on the game, all available at smsumustangs.com. Until next week, for the coach, Cory Sauter, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching, and go Mustangs.